This segment on Baylor Athletics on SicEm365 Radio is brought to you by Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, located at the Imperial Drive exit off Loop 340 in Waco. Proud supporters of all Baylor Athletics.
All right, here we go. We start our first guest today, 3:15, joined by Corey Campbell, strength and conditioning coach at Coach Campbell 46 on Twitter. And I just got off the phone with the people on staff to give me some good stuff on Corey Campbell. Coach, thanks for your time. How frustrating is it to not have right now a chance to be with your players in the football program?
First and foremost, I appreciate you guys having me on here. It means a lot to me to get on with you guys, speak a little bit. But to answer your question, it's real frustrating. And I'm pretty sure, many strength and conditioning coaches around the country, football staffs, and just around the country are frustrated during this time. But although it is frustrating, we have to make the best of it. That's the message that we have to heed by, and that's also the message that we're voicing to our student athletes.
How do you, when they do come back, whenever that is, because, you've got a bunch of hardworking guys, but you don't get to monitor, so you don't want to overdo it when they come back. You got to know what kind of shape they're in. How do you get them back to where you need them to be for a season without all of this that you would have normally had?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it comes into what we're doing right now. As we do communicate with our guys, like one of the messages is, the preparation. Like when the opportunity does present itself for us to come back, like it's too late, to start that preparation right then. So that's definitely a message we try to hit home with them right now. But, when we do get the athletes back on campus, there are guidelines, best practice guidelines kind of set in place from our governing bodies from a strength and conditioning standpoint, the National Strength and Conditioning Association and the Collegiate Strength and Conditioning Coaches Association. So we'll take heed to that to ensure that we are systematically progressing our guys to be able to return. You can't do too much too soon, because in the event that you do that and that, guys get injured and that inhibits from being able to go out there and play football, like you're defeating the whole purpose. So the health and safety of the guys is of the utmost importance in returning to play, and then, we'll progress them as we should.
Corey, have you thought at all about what that's going to be like? And I know it's so uncertain right now, but just staying on the positive side of things, you thought at all what that's going to be last time everybody's ready to take the field and you guys are able to get back to it?
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Like, that's the sentiment that you get from the guys and talking to them every day. Right now, like they're chomping at the bit to get back, and so are we. So when we are able to do that, like that helps me. Their feeling about that helps me believe that right now they are putting in the preparation, so that when we do get back and are able to train, we're able to practice and eventually able to play, in McLean Stadium, that they are putting in that work right now. And I mean, it's going to be an exciting time, and I can't wait to get back to it. I know they can't, and I know Baylor Nation can't wait for us to get back to it. So it'll be exciting.
So I had someone tell me that when the word came out that Dave Aranda was retaining you and you were staying at Baylor, Terrell Bernard, and a response from Terrell Bernard was how incredibly positive he was and how relieved he was, and so many others, that the players, and this is just not something said, that the players, the kids truly love Corey Campbell. How did that happen in such a short amount of time?
I'm thankful that they feel that way about me, but in such a time, I give my all in anything that I do, and working with these young men, it's like they're going to get everything that I have to give. They're going to get all of my love. They're going to get all of my passion. They're going to get all of my knowledge. My coach these guys and prepare these guys, and I pour into them. It's more than athletic performance to me. It's more than the football to me. Like I really, want to understand these young men at a different level, and I want to help them to achieve any goal that they set forth for themselves. So it's I think that says, a lot about me in that relationship, building that I do have with the guys. I care about them. I genuinely care about them. I care about not only their ability to go perform on the field, but I care about their ability to go perform in the classroom. I care about their ability to be upstanding young men in society. So I pour all of myself into them in order to be able to in hopes of getting them to do that. So I think that says a lot into it. Like they understand that they're going to get my best effort every single day, and they're going to get the best I have to give every single day. And they give that to me in return. It's just a mutual respect and a mutual love and appreciation for me.
So have you, even though you have to do them alone, have you had fun doing these workout videos for people to see while we've been in quarantine?
So with that, what we put out for Swole Saturdays, that a lot of that is for Baylor Nation and the general public, just to really emphasize the importance of getting out, being active, and staying fit, and how that can benefit you not only physically but mentally. And it's a little bit different than the programming that we send to the players. Like their programming is a lot involved, per se, as it pertains to preparing them to be able to play football. So that side of it, it's fun to get everybody engaged. Within my profession, as an athletic performance coach, you want to preach fitness, and you want to preach the importance of it. So allowing the public to kind of get a peek into what we do in terms of athletic performance at Baylor, I think that's good for the public to see.
Corey, as a performance coach, I think performance coaches all around the country have pretty much the same end goal and want to, help mold athletes to win championships and, get big and strong and fast and all these different things. But then they also have their own tweaks. And for you, what do you think will be the benchmarks, the hallmarks of a Corey Campbell trained athlete, over this time at Baylor, when you get your hands in there and you get to sink your teeth in and things return to whatever they are? What will be the benchmarks in your mind of somebody who's been trained by Corey Campbell?
Yeah, so I think about the brand of our program, and it might sound like you guys have heard it before. Sure, Baylor Nation has heard it before, but an individual trainer, I'm not gonna take full credit for this. As I am, the face of the athletic performance department. Like, I just want to give a huge shout out to my staff, John Griffin, Adam Davis, Rick Loud, Brian Ellis. When you look at an athlete, they're not just trained by me. They're trained by, the collective group of all of us. But, at the end of it, an athlete in the Baylor Athletic Performance Program for football, like, they're going to be tough, they're going to be hardworking, and they're going to be competitive. Like, that is the culture of this program. We preach that to them every day. We tell them that they are that. We put them in positions and in situations where we can bring those qualities out of them right now during training, so that when we get, the opportunity to play in a game in McLean, to play in a game in various other opponent stadiums on Saturdays, that they go out knowing that they've been trained and prepared to be tough, hardworking, competitive, and then they go out and they do that. Out and they show their labor. So that's what you're going to get out of an athlete that's trained by myself and they're going to be tough, they're going to be hardworking, they're going to be the most competitive athletes in the country.
Corey Campbell is the Director of Athletic Performance at Baylor. He's with us on SicEm365 Radio. So the Instagram takeover, I've heard this is legendary with you. Is that correct?
I don't know about legendary. I tried to do my best.
So how much did you bench and squat? You apparently put on a show.
So on Swole Saturday, on that Instagram takeover, I did 405 for 2 reps on the bench. But if you're asking what I've done in the past, from a bench perspective, the most I've hit 435 and squat 650.
Same here, Corey. Same here.
Yeah.
I like it.
Do you know now? Paul can bench a lot of weight, but if I tried to even if I had 3 guys on either side of barbells and they lifted it up over my head and my arms were in the air, as soon as they let go, my body would be cut in half.
Yeah, just drop right back down.
Like poof, I would be 2 of me. And it's not all about that, though. You mentioned about how, like, I've always wanted to know about strength and conditioning. How far do you know how to take every single player? That everybody maybe wired differently. How do you know when it's like, okay, for this guy, we're right on the edge, or for this guy? Is that hard to kind of sometimes juggle?
Yeah, so with respect to how we do it, we take a systematic approach to the development of each athlete that we work with. Coming in the door, I need you to be where I'm trying to take you year 3. So looking at that, it's a hierarchy of development. Walking in, we're going to focus on qualities such as relative strength and work capacity. Then, now we're going to try to add mass to that, and then we're gonna once you're big enough, once you display the qualities that we've tried to train up to that point, then we're going to try to add to your max strength, and then we're going to focus on speed and power, and then it'll get to a certain point where you've been within our program a while, you matriculated throughout it, and we can take a little bit more of an individual approach to your programming. But that's how we look at it. We look at it from a holistic point of view. We want to develop you to be able to perform at a high level for the duration of your playing career. That may not end at the end of college. You may go on to have a lengthy professional career. That's my hopes for a lot of these individuals. So with respect to our approach in training, it varies. It does depend on the qualities that we see staff that we need to address within your athletic development, and then from there we place you in these groups so that we can enhance those qualities.
Corey, you got promoted to the head of strength and conditioning, head of athletic performance after Dave Aranda took over. Obviously got to spend the last 3 years there with Matt Rule in charge, and not at all a comparison of the staffs, but just did you have any type of a previous relationship at all with Dave Aranda, having played in the SEC, having experiences there, and just what have been kind of your impressions for those who don't get to be around the staff or haven't been around the staff, just your impressions of what he's been like since he's taken over the job?
Yeah, so prior to Coach Aranda coming to Baylor, we didn't have any previous interaction, but you looked at his work. You looked at the program that he had a part in building and where he took those programs, and in bringing his expertise to, like you said, I was here under Coach Rule. Coach Rule did an amazing job, and Coach Aranda's coming in, to continue, not only to continue that, but to also take the next step with that. So, again, his career speaks for itself, and Coach Aranda and the staff that he's been able to put together here at Baylor, it's amazing. And I'm looking forward to seeing, the football that we're able to play, whether that, no one knows when that's going to be. But I do know, he put together a staff of great teachers, a staff of great coaches. He's a great teacher, a great coach, a great role model in and of himself. So, again, putting together such a great staff from a football perspective, putting together such a great staff from, a preparing champions for life perspective, it's going to be very, very exciting to see where Coach Aranda and the staff takes this program.
You walked on at Georgia. You could have gone a lot of different places, but that's what you did, and then you ended up being a starter for a couple of years as a fullback. Does that allow you to relate to those who get overlooked coming out of high school, or those who transfer in who maybe were at a junior college that weren't highly recruited, or for whatever reason weren't right at Baylor or Division I football? Will that help you a little bit?
Yeah, so I didn't start at fullback. I appreciate that. I did have an opportunity to walk on and letter 3 years and make a name for myself. So, but yeah, I look at that, and me having done that, I understand, what it takes. I understand the level of work that you have to put in. The chip that comes on your shoulder when people did count you out. You have somewhat something to prove, and coming in with that chip on your shoulder, just understanding, the work that you have to put in to get noticed. That's what I tell a lot of guys. When you come in, you want to get noticed, and you want to get noticed for the right reason. So how do you do that? You you put in the extra work. You know, when we're talking about hard work, it's not what we ask you to do. That's what's expected of you. You know, it's what more do you do outside of that. You know, you put in that time, you put in that effort. You have to do so much, you know, more from that standpoint of getting that opportunity to show the coaches that you can contribute to this team. So when I think about, you know, walk-ons coming and being a part of the program, when I think about, you know, individuals coming from junior colleges or other institutions and coming in and play at Baylor, like, that's what I tell them. You know, what can you do to get noticed? How are you going to stand out? You have to come in with a chip on your shoulder, and you have to work your mind off every single day. And then when you do get the opportunity, you got to make the most of it.
Corey, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it. It's been great to watch the response, and that a coach tells me that they love Corey Campbell, that you're like they're a huge fan of yours, and that the players' reaction, I would think, and this is not your words, but guys, Paul, and that Corey Campbell and Joey McGuire were the two biggest, because they could have been different options.
Yeah, Sean Bell, David Wetzel, all the guys who stayed, I think, were huge.
But no question about it. Corey, thanks for your time, and we'll see you soon, hopefully at a practice field down the road.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate your time as well, and I pray that your families are safe and healthy during this time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's Corey Campbell, Director of Athletic Performance at Baylor.